Associate Professor, Government City College. Today's topic is financial statement analysis. In that subject, I'm going to take the lesson about ratio analysis. Now, coming to ratio analysis, we have several techniques or tools or methods of financial statement analysis. In that, we have 9 tools: comparative statement analysis, common size statement, trend ratios, average analysis, statement of changes in working capital, funds flow analysis, cash flow analysis, ratio analysis. So, now today's topic is ratio analysis, their formulas and ratio formula. To formulas, ratio analysis is the foundation of fundamental analysis, helps to gain a deeper insight into the financial health and current and probable performance of the company being studied. For this insight, the analysts use the quantitative method where the information recorded in the company's financial statements are compared and analyzed, and there are certain formula that are used for the same. So, in this lesson, in this topic, we shall discuss various ratio analysis, the various ratios formulae and their importance. We would look into the classification of ratios, where we have explained the importance of using various ratios and the formulae to know how they are calculated. To help you learn better and for the easy revisions later, you are provided here with the formulae for the ratios that we have discussed in this topic, in this today's topic. Coming to liquid ratios. Here, liquid ratios are also known as solvency ratios, and as the name indicates, it focuses on a company's current assets and current liabilities. Current assets and current liabilities to assess the short term debts, that we can pay the short term debts. The 3 common liquidity ratios used are current ratio, quick ratio, and burn rate. So here among the 3, current ratio comes in the handy to analyze the liquidity and solvency of the business. So here, coming to liquidity ratio, the current ratio. What do we mean by current ratio? Here assets are assets that are expected to be realized in cash or sold or consumed during the normal operating cycle of the business or within 1 year, whichever is longer. So here they include cash in hand and at bank, bills receivable, net sundry debtors, stock of raw materials, finished goods and work in progress, prepaid expenses, outstanding incomes, accrued incomes, and short term or temporary or current investments, loose tools and stores and spares. Here, current assets for the purpose of calculating these ratios. And here, current liabilities are liabilities that are to be repaid within a period of 1 year. They include bills payable, sundry creditors, bills payable, bank overdraft, outstanding expenses, income received in advance, proposed dividend, provision for taxation. So these are all the examples of current liabilities. Here, current ratio is equal to current assets divided by current liabilities. Coming to quick ratio. Again, quick ratio is the ratio of quick assets or quick liabilities. Quick assets are assets that can be converted into cash very quickly without much loss. Quick liabilities are liabilities which have to be necessarily paid within 1 year. All current assets except stock and prepaid expenses are quick assets. All current liabilities except bank overdraft are quick liabilities. So quick ratio is equal to quick assets divided by quick liabilities. So that we can call it as liquid assets. And here quick liabilities is equal to current liabilities minus bank overdraft. Here quick ratio can also be, the formula can also be quick assets divided by current liabilities. Coming to the absolute liquid ratio. Absolute liquid ratio is liquid assets to quick liabilities. For calculation for this purpose, it is taken as ratio of absolute liquid assets to current liabilities. Absolute liquid assets include cash in hand, cash at bank, and short-term or temporary investment. So, absolute quick assets are nothing but cash plus cash and cash equivalent. So, absolute quick ratio is equal to absolute liquid assets divided by current liabilities. So, absolute liquid assets include cash in hand, cash at bank, and short term or temporary investment. So, now coming to the profitability ratios. Coming to profitability ratios, these ratios analyze another key aspect of a company, and that is how it uses its assets and how effectively it generates the profit from the assets and equities. So this also then gives the analyst information on the effectiveness of the use of the company's operations. Profitability ratios measure the profitability of a concern. They are calculated either in relation to revenue or in relation to investment. The various profitability ratios are under the heads general profitability ratio and overall profitability ratio. So here general profitability ratio. So, general profitability ratios are gross profit ratio. Gross profit ratio is one of the most commonly used ratios. It reveals the result of trading operations of business. So, it indicates to us the profitability of the core activity of the business. So, here gross profit ratio is equal to gross profit divided by net sales into 100. Gross profit is equal to net revenue from operations minus cost of revenue from operations. So, net revenue from operations for a business is its sales, and cost of revenue from operations is nothing but cost of goods sold. So, net revenue from operations is equal to net sales is equal to total sales minus sales returns. Cost of revenue from operations is equal to cost of goods sold is equal to opening stock plus purchases plus manufacturing expenses minus closing stock. So coming to the next one, general profitability ratios. The second includes the net profit ratio. So this one I have given it in the next slide. So net profit ratio is equal to net profit after tax, the 12th one, net profit after taxes divided by shareholders net worth into 100. So here net profit ratio indicates the result of overall operations of the firm. The gross profit ratio indicates the extent of profitability of core operations. The net profit ratio tells us about overall profitability. So it is calculated like this: net profit after tax divided by net revenue from operations or shareholders net worth into 100. Coming to the operating ratio. So operating ratio is equal to operating cost divided by net revenue from operations. So this operating ratio expresses the relationship between expenses incurred for running the business and the resultant net sales. So formula will be operating cost divided by net revenue from operations, that is nothing but net sales, into 100. Coming to the operating cost ratio. So operating cost ratio is equal to operating cost divided by net sales into 100. Operating profit ratio is equal to operating profit divided by net sales into 100. So operating profit ratio shows the relationship between the operating profit and the sales. So now coming to the return on investment ratio. Return on investment is equal to net profit after interest and taxes divided by shareholders' funds or investment into 100. So here return on capital employed ratio, we can call it as return on investment ratio or return on capital employed ratio. The formula is, it reveals the earning capacity of the capital employed in the business. So that is equal to profit before interest and taxation divided by capital employed into 100. So here capital employed is equal to equity share capital plus preference share capital plus undistributed profits plus reserves plus long-term loans and debtors minus fixed assets minus non-operating assets. So the return on capital employed is equal to net profit after tax divided by gross capital employed into 100. So now coming to return on net worth. So this indicates the return which the shareholders are earning on their resources invested in the business. So it is calculated like this: profit after tax divided by net worth into 100. So coming to the dividend payout ratio. So dividend payout ratio reveals the dividend per equity share divided by earning per equity share into 100. So earning per equity share is nothing but earning per share. It is nothing but the accrued to the equity shareholder on one share held by him. So it is nothing but earnings per share is the net profit after tax and preference dividend that is earned on 1 unit of equity. So which is calculated like this, that is profit after tax minus preference dividend divided by number of equity shares. So this is nothing but earning per equity share. Now dividend yield ratio. Dividend yield ratio is nothing but dividend per share divided by earning per share. Now dividend per share divided by market price of share also we can say. Dividend yield ratio expresses the relationship between dividend earned per share and the market price per share. So it expresses the return on investment by purchasing a share in the stock market without accounting for any capital appreciation. So dividend per share divided by market value per share or market price of share into 100. Now, price earning ratio. Price earning ratio expresses the relationship between market price of one share of a company and the earnings per share of that company. It is calculated like this, that is market price of equity share divided by earnings per share. Now, net profit, this already I have discussed. Now coming to the next, working capital ratios. So working capital ratios, like the liquid ratios, it also analyzes if the company can pay off the current debts or current liabilities using the current assets. So this ratio is crucial for the creditors to establish the liquidity of the company and how quickly a company can convert its assets to bring in cash for resolving the debts.